Let's do an example using the secant method. Okay, so what does the example say? Approximate the zero of the following function: x cubed minus x minus 1, so it's a cubic polynomial, using the secant method with the following initial approximations. P0 is 1 and P1 is 2. Those are the initial approximations. So use I should be clear about how many steps. So let's go back and say, using 2 iterations or 2 steps of the secant method with those 2 initial approximations. So solution, we start with step 1, which is iteration number 1. So we write down the second formula for computing P. We have got P0 and P1. The next approximation we want to calculate is P2. Okay, so we must write down the formula for computing P2 in terms of P0, P1 and P0, which is P1 minus f of P1 times, in brackets, P1 minus P0 over f at P1 minus f at P0. We have f defined already up there, and we have P1 and P0 already defined up there, so we just substitute accordingly. And we get, where there's P1 we put 2, and where there's f of P1 we substitute using the expression at the top, so it's 2 cubed minus 2 minus 1, multiplying, in brackets, P1, which is 2, minus P0, which is 1, all over f of P1, which is this bracket here, I repeat it down here, minus f of P0 is the same bracket, but where there's 2 you put 1, so you get 1 cubed minus 1 minus 1. So if I did this calculation correctly, I did it earlier and I got 1.1667, correctly rounded to 4 decimal places. So this is your estimate to the 0 at the end of the first step. Then we do second step, which is iteration number 2. That's another name for it. So we have got P0, P1, P2. We now need P3. So we rewrite the formula with P3 on the left hand side. It's the same, we just increase the subscript by 1. So you get P3 is equal to P2 minus f at P2 times P2 minus P1 all over f at P2 minus f at P1. So we now have P2 and we had P1 all along. So we substitute accordingly. Where there's P2 we put 1.1667, and then f at P2, it's the expression at the top here. Where there's x, put 1.1667. So you get 1.1667 cubed minus 1.1667 minus 1 times P2, which is 1.1667 minus P1, which is 2. Notice that when I do it, maybe some are thinking, he's doing it the long way. Why don't you just do it in the head? Be careful of making mistakes by avoiding mental calculations. Only do mental calculations where it's obvious. If it's not, be careful. That's my advice to you. All over f at P2, which is exactly this bracket, I'll repeat it down here. minus the same bracket with 1.667 replaced by 2. 2 cubed minus 2 minus 1. When you simplify, I did it earlier and I got 1.2531. So you can always verify this by doing the calculation yourself. So this is approximation at the end of step 1, approximation at the end of step 2. So we are done in answering the question. Sometimes a table also helps you to collect the important information. Okay, but don't just write a table and not show working. This is the working you need. Okay, collecting the information in a table is just an extra step to make it clear what the important numbers are. But where did they come from? The working is important.